Welcome to Reporter 247 channel, the place to update the fastest and most accurate news. President Joe Biden declared Sunday night that a bipartisan agreement to increase the U.S. debt ceiling and prevent default is ready for Congress, which he urged to pass the arrangement forged with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Biden implied that McCarthy had handled the negotiations in good faith and affirmed that the agreement upholds his key policy objectives, viewing this as good news for the citizens of his country. Details of the deal were released to be considered in Washington starting Wednesday in a move supposed to avert an unprecedented default by early June. As Biden returned to the White House from attending his granddaughter's high school graduation in Delaware, he expressed that there were no points of dispute between himself and McCarthy. Confronted with a question about the chances of the agreement getting approved, Biden affirmed, yes. He further voiced that both of them would set out to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Despite this, lawmakers among both the House and the Senate reportedly voiced grievances toward the deal. Before the reconciliation was revealed publicly, Biden and McCarthy had a 90-minute phone conference, in which Biden was at Camp David and McCarthy in D.C. Subsequently, the Democratic president declared, "The agreement represents a compromise, which means not everyone gets what they want. That's the responsibility of governing," and called it an important step forward. Despite the slim Republican majority in the House Minority Leader McCarthy is determined to pass the legislation. With opposition from right-wing members due to the spending cuts not being drastic enough and progressive members likely to accept even cuts and restrictions of benefits that they disagree with, it is likely the bill will be placed on the floor of the House within 72 hours and will pass. When appearing on Fox News Sunday, McCarthy made clear that the bill holds no advantages for the Democrats and predicted the support of the GOP members. Congress was able to reach an agreement to raise the federal government's $31.4 trillion debt limit just before the Memorial Day holiday on Monday, preventing the U.S. from a looming default that could have sent America into a deep recession. The two-year budget deal, which was a priority goal of Republicans, includes holding spending flat for 2024 and imposing limits for 2025. This deal also includes expanding work requirements for certain food stamp recipients and modifying an environmental law to facilitate faster reviews for new energy projects. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen had warned that the U.S. would default on its debt obligations if Congress failed to act by the 5th of June. Following the breakthrough agreement, House Minority Leader and Democratic New York Representative Hakeem Jeffries thanked President Biden for his leadership in averting a devastating default. Pramila Jayapal, the Washington State Democratic representative and chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, divulged to CNN's State of the Union show on Sunday morning that she was still unsure if she would vote for the deal due to her need to see the exact legislative text. Jayapal expressed her disapproval of tightening the requirements for hungry families to claim food stamps, deeming it absolutely terrible policy. Nonetheless, she warned that America is on the brink of default since House Republicans forced a negotiation, in addition to struggling with potential spending cuts in necessary areas such as healthcare, education, and childcare. Meanwhile, the South Dakota Republican Congressman Dusty Johnson, involved in the behind-the-scenes negotiations before the leaders agreed, described it as a fantastic deal when he spoke to CNN. Johnson confirmed he is the leader of the mainstream Republican caucus in the House, and elucidated there would be certain Freedom Caucus members who would vote for the deal, even if it was not the most colorful of them. In order to pass a bill, moderates from both Republican and Democratic parties will be required, as the Republicans have a majority of 222 to 213 in the House and the Democrats have a majority of 51 to 49 in the Senate. This has led to worries among some hardline Republicans over House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy's willingness to collaborate with the White House. To allay these anxieties, McCarthy agreed to giving a single member the power to call for a vote to oust him. On Sunday, the leader stated that he was not worried that such an eventuality would take place. According to sources, the deal will see increased spending on the military and veterans' care, and a cap on discretionary domestic programs. However, the details of these programs will have to be debated. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next videos. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with the latest news. Goodbye.